Greetings folks, my name is Napoleon Complex, I go by Ludendorff in the Southern Forums. Welcome back to Faction Spotlight. Today I am playing the Greeks, but the focus of the Faction Spotlight is on the Elamites. Now the Elamites are usually an unassuming list, but when paired with Babylonian allies they become a lot more viable. They are characterized by having a large number of massed archers potentially, but also backed up by a decent body of infantry and chariots that can help to defend their archer line. Particularly with some rough ground, and I expect the chariots and archers and infantry will draw up in this hill here. But their main killing force is this large wing of Elamite chariots. So these bow-armed charioteers can fire in with their bows, disrupt enemy infantry, and then launch a powerful charge to break through. And they are quite dangerous units, particularly if they are deployed en masse against fragile units like these raw hoplites over here. And they will just keep firing, keep wearing them down, and if you give them room to do that, they will eventually just break your army apart. Even other cavalry can have difficulty dealing with these massive chariot swarms, although a large body of cavalry would be the way to counter them. Just get up into their faces and then charge them and try and break them in melee. But they are in this case also backed up, and this is what makes the Elamite chariots on their own would be a nuisance, but when they're backed up by the expert Assyrian cavalry and the Arab cavalry, they become a menace. The expert Assyrian style cavalry have bow 50% capability, and they are superior and armored. These are the best cavalry available in the ancient era. So they will suffer a little bit against light spear 100 cavalry on impact, but once they are in melee, they will generally crush most foes, and even if they don't, they also have their bow capability, which means they may be able to inflict disruptions on the way in. So these are pretty much the best cavalry you can get in this era, with the possibility of looking out towards the steppes as an exception. But even most of the steppe cavalry are horse archers at this point rather than heavy lancers. The Arab cavalry will disrupt enemy cavalry. They will also disrupt their own troops, but they will disrupt enemy cavalry worse, meaning that as your cavalry are trying to come to grips with the Elamite chariots, they are also suffering from disorder, and that means that the Elamite chariots may be able to hold their own or even win in melee against them. And the unarmored horse archers can offer a lot of firepower for only 40 points. They're basically just a mobile missile platform. Though they do have swordsman capability, they can charge into weak cavalry or unsteady infantry and try to beat them in melee. So these units are usually held back in reserve and then brought into the battle once most of the missiles have been flung about. They are quite vulnerable to missile fire while such troops have ammo. So their best use is a reserve brought in once all other forces have been exhausted. So once the Elamite chariots have done their job of weakening the enemy line, these units can come in and they can deliver the coup de grace. So my Greek force is mostly hoplites. We have everything from armoured hoplites to raw hoplites. So lots of offensive spear for breaking through enemy infantry formations. However, with the chariots in the way, we're going to struggle to get to the infantry, and even then, the massed bowmen will be drawn up on rough ground. And there might not even be massed bowmen here. My opponent could have deployed the Assyrian-style medium foot instead, which means our hoplites may have rough going once we get to this point. And, of course, during that time, I'm sure my opponent Kronenblatt will not leave this open space to go to waste, and he'll move out with a large cavalry force to harass me every step of the way. And so I'm going to have to use my cavalry forces. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try and waste no time whatsoever. I've drawn up in a large force to cover the entire valley. And what I'm going to do is, I think I can afford to replace some of these with citizen hoplites, but I'm just going to march straight out and attack and try and push his army off the edge of the map. And we're not going to give these various cavalry units any time to do their magic or to try and surround us. We're just going to push and push and push until the enemy army has nowhere to go, and then once they're off at the back of the map, we can slaughter them trapped against the back of the map. We can slaughter them there. So that's the battle plan today. Let's get on to sorting out our generals. So fairly standard command groups here. I've got 5 units to a sub-general, and over here under my commander-in-chief I have the mass of my less useful infantry. So my armoured hoplites are the breakthrough units, so they are the best commanded. And we also have our light javelin here to try and aggressively deal with any archers that move up to try and shoot past us. And they can also, if they can get past the archers, they can also move up and start harassing the heavy chariots, which may be protecting this hill here. Or if there are no heavy chariots here, they can move straight up and start harassing the infantry. In case something tries to slip past us here, I've arranged a force of slingers and archers to attack it, and if it's a unit of cavalry, we can just shoot it down and it won't be able to get round our backs to bother us. I'm also moving some armoured hoplites here to try and break through this section of the battlefield here, as there's a gap you can drive a train through. So let's get on with the battle. Kronenblatt has defied my expectations here. So let's take a look. So the skirmishers are over here, they're not over here as I thought they'd be. And he's actually deployed quite a large force of cavalry. Now that should be quite vulnerable to our skirmishers here. But if it can get out into the open fully, it could also try and get around our line. We need to try and move up and close up those horse archers. That has to be a priority just now. And as they come through in single file, we can shoot them up. Start to move my armoured hoplites through. Now I do have one advantage in that this area is mostly unguarded. So I should be able to push through with my hoplites and then around the sides of the chariots. The problem is that we're facing skirmishers over here. I'm going to have to bring my own skirmishers over to react to this threat, as we really can't afford to get our lines shot up unopposed by enemy archers. Okay, just move the whole lot through this move. Start to move up with the hoplites, so they can just push the chariots out the way. And then we can get around the sides of the heavy chariots. I do probably want to stay one step away from the heavy chariots though, as they will be quite unpleasant to encounter from the front, and their secondary zone of control can keep our armoured hoplites under control. However, it's probably too soon to start manoeuvring, because Kronenblatt may move his units forward, and then of course I'll have to change everything again. So for now, just keep them in the line. These units are going to have difficulties overcoming the Assyrian-style guard, but our armoured hoplites should be more than a match for the Assyrian-style medium foot. The problem is I know those Assyrian-style heavy chariots will move up. I think we're best off not advancing forward with our main line just now. For the moment, what I will do is start to get my extra units out of hock. So we'll move forward in such a way that indicates that we're clearly going to extend our line and bring the full brunt of our army to bear. So I'm trying to get a large force around here so that I can eventually get them through this gap and around the Elamite lines. But that's likely to be difficult. The light javelin horse may be instrumental in defeating the enemy skirmishers, as archers are very vulnerable to light javelin horse charges, as long as the light javelin horse aren't disrupted by the fire. And their armoured cavalry can come into play as well. Next turn. Lots of thinking time, so obviously Kronenblatt is... oh wait, just remember that we are... just remember that we are the Greeks here. Right, taking a position in the rough, that makes some sense. But he is advancing quite far away from his supporting infantry. Chariots are moving out to confront us. Okay, so as before, I want to try and prevent his chariots from actually getting in out of that valley. However, they've kind of beaten me to it, I have to say. So we'll move into the marsh and instead threaten the squares leading out of the marsh. So if he comes forward now, it'll be into a hail of arrows. And no, hold on to our arrows. Wait until they are on close range to us. And of course he still has this unit of Armoured Hoplites to worry about. Right, let's see. So continuing to move up to confront the archers. Face that way, would you? There we go. Okay, and right, move up. And start moving the rest of the infantry up too. Keep going out to the... he's actually coming forward. Now that offers us an opportunity. Our cavalry don't have much to do at the moment. But I'm confident enough I can beat his army from the front. I'm not too worried about the narrow frontage. Because none of these units are particularly frightening. And most of the stuff that's trapped around here is my cavalry and raw hoplites anyway. So I'm quite happy to take a frontal fight. Right. The cavalry could still be useful because if they can cross the rough ground, they can still get into the flanks. The real threat is these units getting around our back and then paralysing our back line. That could be a real problem. Next turn. Oh, well done. I didn't think they could move that far. Right, now I have a problem. I think I might have to send my armoured cavalry to help. Well, that delays me a little bit, but I can just fall back away from the skirmishers and bring my own skirmishers to bear. He's bringing out the rest of his army. He's being more aggressive with his chariots as well. Okay, another day, another problem. What am I going to do about this? Well, let's give these unarmored horse archers a good slinging. I should have hit the other cavalry. I should have hit them with these archers first. Right, let's try and disrupt this archer unit as well. I mean, if we can break this with just our with their firepower, then there's no problem. Good, that's another disruption. So unless the cavalry can hunt us down, we'll be fine. Okay, moving my. Well, trouble is with the archers here, he can just charge out. So I think I'll turn my. Because I expect him to continue to keep going, I think I'll turn my slingers like this to threaten this angle here. And we've obviously got the chariots moving out. Well, I'll continue to throw these units forward to meet that threat. Because there's no point in trying to chase after horse archers, they'll just move around us and come in from the rear at a different angle. It's useless trying to block a flank. Well, you can do it for a while, but it's generally futile to try and block infantry flankers, cavalry flankers with infantry. You might be able to slow them down for a little while, but they will eventually get behind your lines. Even with the hill, that's worth it. Okay, just closing down the archer's range of movement a little bit. And you know what? I have decided that I am not afraid of this little mound with archers on it. I am going to advance straight towards it. Oops, making sure to move my troops at the correct angles as I do so. Thank you, we don't want any disorder forming here. Okay, we don't want much disorder forming here. We're turning the cavalry around, so let's use that to keep our facing correct. And yeah, I think I will take my cavalry and move it to the other flank. Because we're close to the enemy now, I have to move by one at a time instead of by command group. Right, move some units up. Because if we just charge in with our skirmishers now, then they'll probably just get shot down by the archers. Because we're not ready to make a charge yet. And move our backline forwards after them. Okay, move forward a little bit. If they move forward, then there'll be a range of counterattack by most of our skirmishers. And bring the infantry line up. Alright, next turn. I might be able to catch them at the river now. And if I can take away the horse archer's mobility, that will help. I think what Kronenblatt wanted to do there was charge out and meet us head on, because that would have allowed him to get the cavalry out into the open. But he does have to deal with my skirmisher force, so I did put him in a difficult position. Ouch, already holding firm. Yeah, we're gonna lose some. Needs to be careful placing his massed archers there. But the problem is that he's now moved these massed archers out into the middle of the battlefield, and that means they're vulnerable to my hoplites. Looks like a bit of forced reconcentration. Going for the disruption. Still held firm. Right. I think as long as I don't panic and remain calm, which we should be okay here. Good for the fragmentation. Good. I'll back up here. Hits this unit with what we can. And that's a disruption, and now I move into place. And now there's nowhere these two units can go. This unit can still get into the open, but we can control that. And I'll move around to hit the disrupted unarmored horse archers as well. There's a small chance we could disrupt them too. Okay, no dice, but they have been badly damaged, so I've pretty much locked that down now. Advance out. Still planning to meet him aggressively here. They should probably take the general though, because I am somewhat worried about those chariots. Even my armoured hoplites have to worry about them. Actually move them out like this, because I think we can shuffle around the chariots. Right, over here, what are we going to do? This is the real threat, but I can disrupt this archer line if I'm willing to make a charge. I think first of all I'll open with a charge here. Ah, they evaded out the way. Okay. Now, can we get any head by here? Nope. That was worth a shot. So is it worth trying to take the heights, or do I want to drop back? Can't say the high ground is worth anything special to me right now. I think what I'll do is I'll try to have my hoplites and skirmishers support one another as we move forward. And I want... Thing is, there's more bows waiting for me back here, because the Assyrian style medium foot can fight as well, and my opponent can always dive onto the rough ground. So I may want to hang back a little bit here and just advance with the rest of my army. So keep the massed archers occupied, and these are the units that I want to attack. I don't want to attack the... I don't want to get involved with this fight in the rough ground over here. My focus is on the massed archers, which are exposed. I wonder if I can use my light javelinmans to worry the chariots. Because our armoured hoplites should have no problems closing to contact now. So yeah, hang back here for the minute. No need to pull everyone back. You just want to get out of blunderbuss range. Right. And, Well, the cavalry aren't doing a whole lot of good here. They're probably... I'm not sure they're particularly useful over on the other side of the field either. I'm going to keep them around here. And they may be able to dash through this gap and cause some damage in the centre of the line if things start to get a bit chaotic there. Next turn. We're going to suffer fragmentation here, if we're not shot down completely. And the cavalry has escaped my clutches slightly. But we should be able to chase them down. Well done. And of course those masked bows hurt. But it's all worth it if we can shield the troops long enough to get close to them. And good use of their back line to support the front line. And that's long ranged fire, which means Kronenblatt is having to spend a lot of ammo just to try and disrupt one unit. And the problem I have here is that while the Assyrian cavalry can't do much to my hoplites, I can't do much to the Assyrian cavalry either. No, that may have been a mistake. That's given me a gap I can move around to pin the chariots in. Obviously Kronenblatt setting up a defensive line along here, trying to make use of his cavalry and his archers to wear me down. I should push them out the way here. Hopefully we pursue on. And that gives my troops the freedom to move around to here to cause the chariots problems. Now let's see. This is probably the moment where we want to try and swing around the chariots if at all possible. And we're trying to force them into a smaller and smaller area of ground. Move right up. Give these units as little room to maneuver as possible. Okay, we'll get in there and attack. I think I'll pull these units back now. Charge here with the archers. With the javelin rather. Against the archers, I should say. And we caught them in the back. Pull back. Pass through. And just start to shove everything up. And once again we should be able to pass through. And now the archers are in trouble. What will we do? Just keep pushing on here. And the raw hoplites can keep them pinned in place once we've pushed them to where we want them to go. And they can always keep trying to push them back and off the map, but I don't think that will be too successful. Right, we'll try and break these cavalry now. I should probably try to disrupt that unit first. Move it around them. And we're going for the fragmentation here. Okay, and we might be able to break them now. And there they go. That's them off the field. So now I'm only hunting one enemy unit, and these archers need to just try and get away now, because they've taken too many casualties. What do I want to try to do now? Try again with the charge here, but it's not looking like it's causing much damage. Oh, that's a disruption. Okay, so it is starting to make some headway. These archers are in an incredibly vulnerable position. Disruption. But they got in the way of our infantry. But on the other hand, do I really want to advance quickly with the infantry here? I'm winning elsewhere on the battlefield, so I don't really feel the pressure to move quickly and engage the forces here. What I think I can try to do is start to move around the sides of this blocking force. Now there's a bit of a choke point forming here. But I feel confident enough now to start advancing forward. But with more of an emphasis of getting around this blockade. I have one unit of cavalry that might come in handy for flanking these Assyrian style foot. But I don't think that's really the big priority right now. Right now what we're trying to do is get around this blockade and find a way to attack this formation. So we'll keep the cavalry back and in reserve for the moment. Okay, they may actually prove useful over here. Okay, next turn. So he has managed to draw back from me. Not with this unit, but with the others. That won't work because we're on a marsh. So I suspect that's Kronenblatt's inexperience coming into play there. We might take quite a beating on this side. Well done. Took a half arc volley to make sure he got the cohesion test. And this situation is a problem now, because if I try to rush ahead and engage these massed archers, then I will be in danger of... To engage these massed archers hiding here, then I'll be in danger of exposing my line to a counterattack from the hill. Because this line of massed archers, if approached without organization, is death incarnate. Okay. So we've seen so far how the Elamites can disorder an enemy advance as well, making it harder for the Greeks to stay in formation and hit the enemy in a solid line. And that's a situation that requires management by the Greeks. And unfortunately they escaped us. Right, we'll get into melee here. We can at least bring down these massed archers. Now, if we're clever with how we charge here, I might be able to catch a few of these lights. There we go. Hit them. course, now it's rather messy because we're up on top of the hill facing these units here. And if Kronenblatt is clever, he'll probably dive his massed archers onto the rough ground, making my advance even more of a trial. But he might also have a plan. What he could do is just fall back, and actually that would be even better, fall back with the massed archers and then leave these Assyrian troops guarding the advance in the rough ground, because then I won't be able to get anywhere. And I'm suddenly regretting not having my medium cavalry available here, because the armoured cavalry will be perfect for trying to get around to that rough ground. If we can pin them in combat, we can get around, we can hit them in the flanks, and then we can defeat them. But it's going to be a tough advance here, especially seeing many of these units are raw rather than good quality. I need to make sure it's this unit I take onto the rough if I need to go onto the rough. We have some reserves, so if things start going wrong, I do have something to plug the gap. But it's a difficult advance so far. There are now quite a lot of bows facing me. So do I want to advance now? Pull them back, they're not going to be able to take much more. And of course these Assyrian style chariots are armed with bows. Unfortunately I can't zone of control the spot here, and this unit of Armoured Hoplites is zone of controlled by the chariots. We'll once again need to force these Elamite chariots back. What I think I need to do is try and work my way around the enemy line. I don't want to use my units of Armoured Hoplites there. Well, honestly, we can actually move this unit on. They can maybe occupy this corner here, and we can try and get this unit into this line here and try and close down these chariots. But the problem with these hairy chariots is they're doing their job. They're slowing us down. I either have to take a massively risky charge to try and pin them in, or I have to try and work right around their flanks somehow. And I really want to work around their flanks because I do not want to have to take that charge. It will be extremely painful. And I don't want to advance here yet because I know I'm going to start getting bombarded from the hill soon. This at least I have under control. Don't think I'll be able to turn because my units are out of command. Just break them. Okay, that's annoying. I was hoping they'd break immediately. I want to make sure they break, so let's do it properly. And the thing is, I do have to be careful because the Kronenblatt can get these unarmoured horse archers out into the field. They can cause a lot of trouble. And he's also drawn off my Armoured Hoplites. They're not doing anything. So he lost about 160 points. But he distracted 30, 60, 84, 88, 138. So he distracted about equivalent points once you add in the slingers as well. So that may have been worth it if he can win somewhere else in the field. Unfortunately, I could try and charge and force these skirmishers to evade somewhere unpleasant, but I don't have anything facing in the right direction to catch them as they retreat. So, no dice. What I will do is move my armoured cavalry right up to them. They'll take a shot to the face, but then they will be hit by a cavalry charge that will force them to either flee, or they'll have to try and evade, and we might be able to catch them with another unit as they try and escape. And I will move my light javelin into position specifically to hunt them down. Probably can do something with this. Now if these cavalry try and charge and move away, then I can start to surround the chariots here. And that's my real aim. Okay, next turn. Hold on, this could be fun. Ah, I thought they might already be. But that's interesting. They're now right in front of the massed archers. If they can stand their cohesion test, then light javelin horse cause quite a bit of damage to massed archers on the charge. Although if Kronenblatt doesn't get his archers out the way, they'll be penned in as well. Next turn. Lots of his archers are low in ammunition at this point. Still can't break through his massed archers though. Of course, we've got all those archers waiting for us on the hill. Now that's a problem for him because he's just exposed that unit and will be able to destroy that pretty quickly. However, it's a problem for me because it further obstructs my advance. I should be able to move up and attack the massed archers now though. Yeah, but there's a hole in my line, so I have to be careful around here. The skirmishers are just getting shot to hell now, I'll have to recall them. That is a very timely rally given what's going on over here. So I'm going to try and hunt down and finish off these unarmored horse archers. Which is going to be difficult because they do have a speed advantage over us. Really need to hope that this is a fragmentation. Good, that's brought them pretty much to a standstill. And now I can send my remaining skirmishers out to hunt them down. I think I'll send these slingers out to help with the rest of the fight so they can at least have some role today. Now I could try and move here and then I'd be able to block the chariots and hit them with a flank attack. In fact, what I can do is this. General, please. So they'll swing around to face in this direction. And then I hit them from this direction as well. And we're basically just going to grind them down. So those chariots are going nowhere now. Right, need to think about this carefully. Move here. Move here. Move this unit up here to cover the flanks. Move this unit up here to cover this. And charge in here to lock them down. Don't go too far. Okay, good. And now I've got this chariot unit in trouble as well. They can't back off and they're about to get flanked by armoured hoplites. Or if they turn to face here, they'll just get flanked by this unit instead. So the chariots are going down now. I've encircled them. Resolve this melee here. Really not happy with these citizen hoplites. They're letting the side down. Push through here. Good, right up against the archers. Good, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Well, this unit's close to auto-braking, so I don't want to use that in the attack. So I guess I will use this unit to move here. Try and move forward. I'm mindful of the risk that these Assyrian-style medium foots pose if I push through and the massed archers get pushed back. But of course now, if I give this unit the general, to make sure that we don't get any sudden emergencies, I can attack here, and now these Assyrian-style medium foot are doomed. And since they're facing that direction anyway, I can also charge in here and get a little bit of extra pressure placed on them. Try and break them quickly. Though they're only raw hoplites, they can still take care of the Assyrian medium foot. Right, put our plan into action and take out these troops. Every single time that catches me off guard, which is very annoying because I should learn my lesson. I didn't see the diagonal. Well, that was different because there was a unit here and I didn't think they'd be able to move through diagonally like that. But of course, skirmishers which are retreating can move quite quickly through other enemy units. They seem to ignore the normal costs of a move through, because when you're calculating pursuit, the archers can move one more tile than they normally can in the direction moving. So if they can normally move 2 units, then they can evade 3 tiles. If they can normally move 4 tiles, they can evade 5 tiles. In this case, I think a move through action counts as 1 tile, and so they can actually move quite far. If I try to move through here, I will end up getting. If I try to attack here, I will end up getting my light javelin horse caught. So I'll just have to take it. If I move any closer, I'll be vulnerable to the massed archers over here. So unfortunately, we're just going to have to take the pain here for the minute. I could move in and try and finish this fight quickly. And this unit's just getting shot down. They'll be auto-broken next turn by fire. So we're winning over here, but this situation worries me because we're just taking fire here at the moment. And I can't back off because I'll take a cohesion test from the massed archers. And that's going to be concentrated fire. I might have to sacrifice a javelin unit just to try and protect my better units. I think I'll do exactly that. Pull this unit back though, there's no reason for them to take a kicking. And we are moving forward into position here, but it's happening slowly. Got a bit of a traffic jam situation forming here next turn. So Kronenblatt caught off guard by his own unit's fast retreat. Yeah, there can be some amazing light archer retreats through other units. Our Armoured Hoplites do what they do best, take pain. Good disruption. So maybe another disruption. Yikes. Oh goodness. Massive attack. But I got to the cohesion test. Still can't get anywhere against those archers. I'm absolutely amazed by that. I've never seen massed archers hold out so long against citizen hoplites. Oh, there they go. At least they're not in our way anymore. Those Lydian hoplites are a threat. Well, there they go. He is slowly picking up my light troops. Yeah, you don't want to come towards these guys. Thank you, camera. Can we see what's actually going on? It's just that unit of Assyrian cavalry getting murdered. And the chariots will hold out for quite a while. After all, they are superior troops. But they don't stand a chance there, and they will eventually die. Alright. Let's see. Let's get these units in the bind first of all. So once again, I will borrow a general for this. Alright. And again. So those chariots are now locked down pretty tight. I could attack here, but I'd be risking opening up the flanks of these Armoured Hoplites. What I think I'll do is I'll charge here. They ran a lot further than I actually wanted them to run, but that's fine. That means I can trap them up against their own massed archers. And that means that we don't have to stand here taking fire all the time. And we finally get through the massed archers here. About time. My raw hoplites are quite a good match for the massed archers here, and the problem is this disrupted unit here. That could be quite dangerous if we drive them back. I think I'll drive through here. Okay, and as long as they can not get fragmented, they can hit the massed archers. This is dangerous if he takes them away. Kronenblatt needs to get those archers out of the way of the massed archers so they can be pushed back. Can't quite get my cavalry up to block the Assyrian style medium foot. And leave them facing that way so they can move up and do it next time if they move up. But if it happens on Kronenblatt's turn, I won't be able to interfere. And we'll polish them off here. Now we still couldn't finish them off. Right, continuing. So just piling through the heavy troops now. Alright. Move them away, they're just getting shot to pieces. And I guess we can start to move our light troops in this direction to help to deal with the enemy archers. We might be able to finish off the chariots this turn. There they go. No more chariots, no more problem. Just keep forcing them away. But the hidden chariots there, that could be a problem. Right, force them off. Right, now the more of them are out in the open and harassing us. This is actually quite dangerous. Move up here, we'll have to confront the Assyrian style guard foot at some point. Where are my veterans? Incidentally, did I even bring veterans? I don't think I did. I wanted more armoured hoplites. Okay, next turn. And battle continues. Oh, nice. Fire from the hill. I think they might auto-break, actually. Very clever having those archers in the hill in 2 lines. I would never have thought of that. Yeah, those citizen hoplites are pretty much toast. And even there's some archers to spare for my cavalry. I'm amazed they didn't auto-break. That is some mean fire coming from that hill. And there goes the auto-break. They've routed into quite an annoying position. Excellent. Does that spread the panic? Yes. Oh good, perfect timing for that. And now we're through, and that's exposed their flanks. That's a local disaster for Kronenblatt. So they've dispersed, that means they're not in my way. And we've broken through here. I think Kronenblatt's army is in trouble, and he forgot to move his archers out of the way, so they're not going to fall back. I'll resolve that combat first, see if it goes any further. Still can't get rid of them, but it does mean that I can use my cavalry to lock this threat down here. But do I want to do that? Because I could be reckless and instead pursue. You know what? I'm feeling lucky. I am going to go charging through the gap here and into the massed archers, and that's exactly what happened. Excellent. And to cover the flank threat here, I'll move up with my troops. Okay. I think I will move up here and flank here. Crash bang wallop. Now for the record, I don't think there's really a lot for me to be proud of winning this fight, because because the Greeks have the easier, I believe the Greeks have the easier job in this fight. It is the Elamites that find this to be a difficult struggle. I think what I will do here is I'll move up my skirmishers to cover us here, because I'm not feeling particularly good about sending raw hoplites against these average quality Syrian style foot. They probably can fight, but it's not a fight I want to take unless I have to. He'll engage here, and I think I can get the flank. I can get the auto drop on this unit. Charge in here, hit them in the flank. Held the ground despite the perilous situation, and now we'll hit them here. And hopefully that will be enough to fragment them. Nope, they held firm. They obviously got a very good roll that turn. Push in here. I'm just piling the pressure on now, because I know that this massed archer line won't hold much longer. And while we're in melee, we're not taking fire from the troublesome back line. And I think we'll just try and finish these chariots off, all things considered. Let's move around here, move up to here to confront the guard, and I'll send my armoured hoplites in to confront the enemy here. That was... oh. Right, can anyone tell me what went wrong there and what I did wrong there in the comments? Something could have gone very badly awry for me there, but I won't say what. I'll let people say down below. Move up and pin those cavalry in place and push them out the way next turn. I am not quite sure what to do with these guys yet. They're kind of otherwise engaged. I might be able to pin in the cavalry next turn and prevent the Assyrian, expert Assyrian style cavalry from escaping. So we fragmented the heavy chariots, we couldn't get rid of them this turn. These raw hoplites are in serious trouble. That didn't really help. It did take away some of the direct fire at least. I'll try and send up help, but I don't think there's much more that can be done for them. And don't think I've forgotten about this situation down here. And we again, it's very easy to underestimate how fast slingers can move, although I'm not sure there's much else Kronenblatt could have done in this situation. So we'll sling him here, and that was enough to break them. So my skirmishers can start moving right towards the fight. And that might be able to help with our little chariot problem, because skirmishers can be quite effective against chariots, and everyone's going to be low in ammo soon. And just keep moving our units through. Okay, holding on here for now. Send some raw hoplites to back the citizens up. If I'm cunning here, I might... Well, no, they're likely to engage the units right in front of them. If I'd held back here, I might have been able to turn a flank. Quite foolish of me, actually, to move up here without checking on my options. So yeah, look out for situations like this. I could have placed these raw hoplites here. The Assyrian style mediums might have charged out the way, and then they would have engaged this unit, or maybe just charged through. And say if this unit had been here, that unit could have engaged, that could have turned the flank, and that would have been the end of that Assyrian style medium foot. So that's the kind of that's the kind of trickery you want to engage in this kind of situation. We kind of just have to stand here and take the pain here. Next turn. Yep. I could have tried to charge there. Right. Well, they would be. Not sure who has the advantage here, to be honest. They will have the advantage because they're superior troops. That's going to be even Stevens. My life as a pincushion continues. It's a good life. Good pension benefits. And we were lucky, we won that melee. And I suspect that Kronenblatt's line is about to peel open. Oh, it could end this turn. Ooh, very close. Very close. That could have been it there as well. I'm surprised how quickly I won this. Alright, let's try and break through. Still nothing. Try and put my evil plan into place here. Those are medium foot, so low an advantage over our raw hoplites on the rough ground. Let's see. Of course, I can't stop him from attacking there then, which means I can't get this flank attack. I think I'll take a risk and move my raw hoplites up here, and I will try to get a flank attack here. And once again, I've made a mistake. So think about it. My troops are probably going to have a good chance of driving these Assyrian-style medium foot back, and if that happens, no flank attack, and I've just set my troops up in a bad position. So I have risked losing an advantage. I've tried to get an advantage which I may still not get, and I've definitely given myself a disadvantage here. So on balance, that was a bad idea. Doubly so if this unit ends up fragmenting anyway, now that the breaks happened. Of course, it's the end of the battle, so it doesn't matter, but I do want to highlight that that was a mistake on my part. Okay, we'll pin them in at this angle by charging in here. And then we'll move there to the flank, but it's not going to matter anyway because the units fragmented and will give up soon anyway. That's even. We'll get ready for a flank attack. This is even, actually, due to my offensive spearman capabilities and the fact that we're both generaled up. And ouch, that could have been quite nasty. I don't believe these guys have anywhere to go. They had somewhere to go. They really did have somewhere to go. Now they're freeing behind my line. That was a mistake. People keep believing I'm good at this game, and I keep cheerfully letting them down. Alright. That should be a wrap. Just move our skirmishers. Well, I'll move up the skirmishers off screen next turn. Well, they're still in the game for the moment, but I suspect it will end this turn. They just rallied up. Wow, we are out way out from where the actual battle's happening. Okay. If that had happened earlier in the battle, it might have helped. But I don't think this was going to end any other way. The Elamites definitely need to take an indirect approach to this battle because they don't have the strength to stand up directly to the Greeks. The chariots did manage to peck off my raw hoplites here. Even the guard can't stand up to the ordinary armoured hoplites. They get a bonus on impact, but that's it. Okay. Thankfully our raw troops didn't pursue there. And that's it. Okay, so let's have a talk about this. So what I'm trying to do in the mirror to this match is I'm trying to use Elamite chariots and cavalry to draw away the hoplites and reduce them by attrition. The problem is that Kronenblatt is managing to trap the chariots and catch them in between the ranks of the phalanxes. And on top of that, my infantry line has been reached and we just can't hold on. We haven't weakened the Greek steamroller enough. Now I am winning over here on the right, where some of my stronger units have managed to get concentrated. But whether or not I'll be able to win over here before Kronenblatt can smash through here by sheer weight is an open question. But I don't think going for lots of massed archers and lots of foot troops like this is the way the Elamites want. Well, they probably do, but what they really want to emphasize is their cavalry arm and their skirmish arm, because the cavalry can win against the Greeks if they just haven't, or at least they can keep the Greeks busy long enough for the Elamite foot to start to get the upper hand elsewhere if the majority of the Greek steamroller can be kept away from the foot. But the problem with that strategy is the Greeks can just keep going forward and either trap the chariots in between their ranks, or they can just keep going straight forward and push them off the map. And while the Elamite foot are good enough to gain a localized advantage, if they try to take the Greeks on all the way along the front like this, then they'll just get run over. And honestly, even with a localized strategy of trying to get local advantages, it's still not likely. It's still a difficult battle for the Elamites overall. So I think the Elamites are at a mismatch here. But still, with Babylonian allies, I think the Elamites are at least viable. And it's interesting to see how to make a massed archery list like this somewhat work and try and have a go at doing that. Anyway, folks, I have been Napoleon Complex. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you to Kronenblatt for being my opponent today. If you enjoy the content, please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell. And here's the end screen. Don't let the warbands grind you down.